that the snake was still in the residence.
Florida Wildlife Commission officers were called in to remove the illegally owned monster Burmese python.
We weren't sure whether the snake was going to be alive or dead when we went into the residence. It turned out to still be alive. Well, the snake was wounded, so you don't know how a wounded snake would react.
Pythons are not indigenous to the United States, but wildlife officials from across the country have been inundated with reports of these massive snakes.
This Burmese python was captured in Apopka, Florida. This monster's approximately 20 feet in length and weighs over 300 pounds.
These deadly beasts are coming into contact with man more often. However, some experts are skeptical of the danger to humans. This researcher says snakes simply are not aggressive.
I think the biggest misconceptions that most people have are that snakes are out to get them, that they care about people, and that's completely false.
Dr. Whit Gibbons studies these invading predators at the Savannah River Ecology Lab in South Carolina.
Snakes want to get away from people, and the responses of snakes where they do bite people are totally in defense. It's because the snakes are scared and they are defending themselves.
Gibbons agrees that the population of foreign species may be expanding.
If we have individuals that have a genetic predisposition to living in a temperate area, they could persist possibly in some areas way outside of Florida.
Now, Monster Quest will launch a search to confirm reports that invasive pythons are taking over places like Florida. The search will start near the Everglades National Park, not far from the homes, playgrounds, and schools of heavily populated South Miami.
Okay, so this is the Everglades National Park right here. Bob, what area do you think we should search for down here, you and I?
Animal expert Dale Pearson will lead the search near the Everglades.
I think we'll go close to the national park boundary right over here near this urban area.
Pearson will be aided by local guide Bob Freer.
We'll scout the area so we'll know what it is we're looking at when we go out at night. But give us a chance to kind of look around, see if we can find out where maybe some of the snakes are holding up during the day. And then we'll go out at night and do some more building working around the urban area and some road running.
The science team will test whether the massive snakes have migrated to other parts of the country. Joe Wasilewski, a wildlife biologist, will explore New York's Central Park, where invading snakes have been reported. He will see if environmental conditions could support a breeding population of these deadly predators.
All right, well, I'm going to New York, and then we're going to check Central Park to see if it could hold a big constrictor and if the animal could live there. And then we're headed to some subways, and we're going to check in the subways if their snakes are down there.
Pearson briefs Wasilewski on 2 modified pieces of camera technology that will aid in his search.
We got the Micron infrared system. We can use that, temperature and stuff like that. We're going to have it dialed into pythons in an urban environment down here. So when we send it up, it'll already be calibrated for that. So all you'll have to do is take it, aim, and shoot.
Okay. And this?
That's the lipstick cam. We've got a couple of mag lights on it, and that's been good for like, you can go in some underneath stairwells and in drain pipes and things like that. Be able to check it out without sticking your hand in there. All right, well, it sounds like a good plan, I'll get the gear all ready, and then let's see what we can find.
Good luck.
All right, you too, man.
To help familiarize Pearson with the snakes they might encounter, Freer shows him some of the pythons that he has captured.
So, you caught a 20-foot python around about 3 miles from here.
Correct, yeah.
And then you've also been finding a lot of these Burmese pythons.
Yeah. You have 4 rows of teeth on the top, 2 on the bottom, over 100 teeth. they basically curve back like fish hooks. So when they grab their prey with their teeth, it's not getting loose.
So if one of us gets nailed tonight, then that's a good chance that's going to tear us open then.
Very good chance. Once they bite, he'll start to twist and wrap, which will pull his head around at an angle, and it's going to be quite painful.
What are you guys finding that these things are actually eating?
Some of the most astounding things, I think, it's probably the fact that they're eating alligators. Who would have thought that, it's a snake would be eating an alligator? And the largest mammal I've heard of so far is a bobcat, which is, quite a large cat.
And so how far are we away from, like, a population center around here? I mean, how close is our people?
You'll be in a residential area straight east of here, about 200 yards.
So these things are coming right up to the edge of a population centers. It's not like you have to travel deep into the Everglades to find them.
They're not only coming right up to the edge of the urban areas, they're actually venturing right in.
The team drives to its staging location near the Everglades. The abandoned factory's foundation is full of stagnant water, crumbling concrete, and abundant hiding places. It's an ideal breeding ground for these monster snakes.
So this is the place, huh?
This is where we want to try your fancy little camera.
All right, well, we'll see if we got anything living in the ductwork or in the pipes and give it a shot.
All right.
The structure is 150 feet high and surrounded by catwalks. The team starts its search at the building's highest point.
Like right up in here. Oh, damn, look at those spiders.
Abandoned for 50 years, the walls are filled with insulation and debris.
Looks like that area is pretty clean. Or at least there's no pythons in it.
The team walks the perimeter, looking for spots where the camera can investigate hidden areas.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check.
There we go. What do you think about this one right there?
Yeah, let's try it.
The team notices an open grate above what was once a sub-basement loading dock.
Look, you see the water, how the water's moving down there?
Yeah.
Something big is moving around in the water down there.
Look at that.
What the hell? You see anything in there?
That was something like surfaced.
Pearson and Freer are unable to see what is moving in the water. They decide to wait for nightfall, when the thermal camera will reveal more.
Probably we've done enough for the day. It's just too hot. Let's go ahead and come back out this evening when it cools down. They start to come out moving around.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Monster Quest is searching for giant pythons that may be taking over Florida. Monster snakes have been feared in North America since the earliest settlers arrived on its shores.
America is expected to find monsters when they arrived in an unknown land, and they did to some extent.
The Europeans encountered deadly snakes previously unknown to them. They found the snake was an integral part of Native American culture. The settlers also discovered prehistoric burial mounds in the shape of giant snakes.
The Americans took a perverse pride in the monstrousness of the wildlife and compared themselves to rattlesnakes and said, "We are dangerous, we cannot be toyed with, don't tread on us." And the rattlesnake became a sort of American icon to represent the independence and the dangerousness of the American settlers.
In 1897, the New York Times reported that a large python was killing natives on a small island in the Florida Keys. They sent a search party into the woods and found a 34-foot python eating a deer. It was later discovered that the snake had escaped from a circus. In 1904, another New York Times article described a snake 2 stories long that had slipped out of the third-floor window of a bird and animal store. It was eventually recovered, but only after a crowd of several hundred had gathered to watch the capture. A natural disaster in 1992 was likely the cause of the explosion of the python population in Florida.
Hurricane Andrew did a tremendous amount of damage to facilities and homes in urban areas in South Florida when it struck. Its eye went right over the center of the warehouse area where most of the tropical pets coming into the United States are kept.
Gordon Roda is a zoologist who has studied the Burmese python and found them to be one of the most adaptable species of large snakes.
The species of python that's spreading rapidly through South Florida at the moment is frequently called the Burmese python, which is technically a subspecies of the Indian python. The species as a whole has an incredibly wide habitat range. So it occurs everywhere from thorn scrub deserts to mountainous areas to coastal plains to tropical rainforests to swampy areas to many different kinds of environments. Problem of the Burmese python in South Florida is new in the sense that the population has really rocketed off, became very numerous only quite recently. North of Okeechobee, and now we're getting reports up near Tampa, so the evidence is they're spreading north.
Roda has designed a study to determine what areas of the country have a climate suited to the Burmese python.
Our study was designed to figure out how much of the United States is at risk from possible colonization by the Burmese python. The reason that's important is that we and many other people had assumed that this is a tropical animal that couldn't become established in the temperate United States. So we did a climate match, and we're surprised to learn that in fact it can occur in very temperate areas.
The study projects that continued changes in temperature will open new corridors for python migration.
There are about 10 or 12 species in the genus Python. Now, whether they will breed with each other in many cases is not known because their natural ranges don't overlap. In Florida, they do occur together. Because they're so closely related and because in captivity they will breed together and produce offspring, there's reason to be concerned about hybridization occurring. Some of the worst invasive species, especially plants, are often hybrids, that the hybrids, for one reason or another, have that combination of traits that is lacking in the wild types, but makes them very good at being invasive species.
Roda believes that pythons could now currently invade areas as far north as Washington, D.C.
With global climate change, it will extend further north. The climate match will go further north. By the turn of this century, places like New York City would be within the climate match.
The science team is in New York to determine if this is a suitable habitat for pythons to survive and breed.
There is a theory in existence right now that pythons can go as far north as here in New York and west over to San Francisco. And we're just here today just to kind of check it out to see the feasibility of that theory.
Joe Wasilewski makes his way to Central Park.
There's not many wild places left in New York City, but Central Park is about 800 acres of greenery. And if there were a snake anywhere in New York City, this is a good place for it to be. Snakes like warm-blooded prey, and there's chipmunks and squirrels and running around all over, and all different types of birds. So there's a lot of potential prey here. They like shelter. They like rock outcroppings and any other type of shelter. So any area like that, you could turn up a snake.
Pythons can survive in temperatures as low as 40 degrees.
All in all, snakes being cold-blooded